Antarctica, the last great wilderness. Our Earth is often called the blue planet. Seen from space, Earth is almost covered by blue oceans. The large masses of land in the blue seas are the continents. In the south, a large white continent covered in ice reflects the sun's light. This is Antarctica. Coral Talek went there. In this interview, she talks to us about her wonderful journey. Coral, why did you want to go to Antarctica and how were you able to get there? I write and illustrate stories for children, and I wanted to write about Antarctica, the last great wilderness. I was accepted as an expeditioner with ANAIR, the Australian National Antarctic Research Expeditions. On my voyage on the icebreaker, Aurora Australis, we visited 4 of Australia's 5 Antarctic bases. Coral, why is Antarctica often called the last great wilderness? Because Antarctica is isolated, wild, and unspoiled, nobody really lives in Antarctica. The only people who visit there for long periods are scientists and the people who work with them. Coral, what is Antarctica like? Antarctica's mountains, buried under ice, rise to form the highest plateau in the world. Fierce winds that start here make their way back to the ocean and affect the climate of the whole planet. It is the coldest, windiest, highest, driest, cleanest, and loneliest place on Earth. Why did you say it's the driest place on Earth? Doesn't it rain there? No, it's too cold for rain. Only snow falls. In winter, it's dark for most of the day, and temperatures drop so low that even the ocean freezes. When the ocean freezes in winter, Antarctica is 1.5 times the size of North America. In the middle of the summer, the nights are as light as the days. The sea ice begins to melt, and the ships are able to get closer to the land. This is when some of the scientists and other workers can go home, and new people come. Even the animals in Antarctica come and go with the seasons. Did you go to the South Pole? Oh no, that's a very difficult journey. Over hundreds of miles of ice. Almost all of Antarctica is covered with ice. The ice is called the polar ice cap. In some places, the ice is nearly 2 miles thick and as hard as steel. How did the polar ice cap get so thick? It's been growing for hundreds of thousands of years. As the snow falls, it piles on top of the existing snow, pressing the snow underneath into ice. The ice flows slowly across the continent, moving all the time. At the edges, it forms ice shelves and glaciers. What is a glacier and where do icebergs come from? A glacier is like a river of ice, moving very slowly across land. Under the pressure of the moving ice and the pounding summer sea, bits of glacier and ice shelves break off and become icebergs. Some icebergs are as large as small cities and can take years to melt as they float in the ocean. Is it true that all the great oceans of the world meet around Antarctica? Yes, this is where the Pacific, the Indian, and the Atlantic Ocean meet. In the Southern Ocean, when these warm, moist ocean waters and air meet the cold water and air of Antarctica, wild storms are created. Freezing and melting and whipped by winds, the Southern Ocean swirls around Antarctica. It carries water, heat, and salt between the oceans of the world. Because it is so important, scientists are studying the ways that Southern Ocean affects the whole planet. How do plants and animals survive in Antarctica? Seal, penguins, and whales all have a thick layer of blubber under their skins to protect them from the cold. Some Antarctica fish make a kind of antifreeze in their bodies that stops their blood from freezing. All these creatures depend on the ocean for their food. Nothing grows on land except tiny plants, such as mosses, which grow very slowly and can survive under a layer of snow. What do people mean when they say Antarctica is a fragile environment? Wherever people go on the planet, they change things. By mining and hunting and fishing, and even by dropping trash, one footprint on a moss bed can last for decades because the moss grows so slowly. The ways the plants and animals have survived in Antarctica have taken thousands of years to develop, and even small changes to the environment could be very harmful to them. Changes to Antarctica could then affect all the oceans and climate of the world. What is being done to protect Antarctica? Many of the world's nations have signed a treaty and have agreed to work together in peaceful cooperation. They are working to protect the world's greatest wilderness now and for the future. By being aware of the world around us, being curious, and sharing our knowledge with each other, we can all make a difference. Every one of us can help to protect Antarctica. Through our growing knowledge of Antarctica, we learn more about our world every day. Some people say that visiting Antarctica is like visiting another world, but Antarctica is our world, and everyone who goes to Antarctica comes back with a great love for its beauty and a great respect for its importance. For me, it was the greatest journey, my journey to the last great wilderness.